All right, welcome and good evening. What a night we have ahead of us. We are on the eve of the South Carolina primary. We have a Bernie rally going on tonight. We have a Trump rally going on tonight. We are going to be dipping in and out from both of them. I am back on Twitch. As many of you know, I got banned Tuesday night by what we now know are completely fraudulent copyright claimants. It has been a fiasco. Lawyers are involved. Twitch is involved. It's been completely crazy. But we are back because the claims were fraudulent. And that's a whole other story. I'm not going to get too much into that today because there is just so much else to discuss. Now, the one thing I don't yet have a plan for where I can pick up the Bernie rally stream. I found a Trump rally stream. I've been searching for a Bernie rally stream, searching, of course, only under live things. And I'm only seeing Trump rallies live. So we need, this is the Bernie rally in Springfield, Massachusetts, very close to here. And my own stream is coming up, interestingly, in the search results, but no others. So if somebody could direct me to where we can find the Bernie stream, also scheduled to start right around 7:30, then let me know because I just don't know where. Um, it is going to be the next 4 days could be the most consequential 4 days so far of the 2020 election, in the sense that we will have the South Carolina primary, which is sort of do or die for Joe Biden. And then we have Super Tuesday and Tom Steyer, by the way, South Carolina. And then we have Super Tuesday, where it will be clear, is this thing going likely to a contested, negotiated, or brokered convention, or is Bernie going to be able to get 50% plus one? Unless something radically changes on Super Tuesday, unlikely anybody else could get to 50% plus one. The two most likely outcomes are either a contest, nobody gets to 50% plus one, or Bernie does. Let's see. Bernie usually streams his rallies on Twitter and Facebook. Okay, I checked that. If anybody at some point has a specific plan for where to grab the Bernie rally, please do let me know. I will, of course, be taking your questions and comments if you're watching on YouTube via Super Chat. They'll show up in the lower right. It's so depressing that we have this message right now that says no new Super Chats or members. But I'm confident that that will change. I think people are going to start with the Super Chats at some point. I do want to say thanks on Twitch to Stefan Rowe, who has subscribed for 4 months with Twitch Prime, and Shaners, who has gifted a subscription. Very much appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. We will also have I don't usually do like random Friday night rally streams. So I'm doing just a small 25 new member target for tonight, and we'll see if we can do anything with that. There is a coupon code that'll save you 66%. So we're standing by for Trump, and we are standing by for Bernie Sanders, although I don't actually have a Bernie Sanders rally available here. Let me see if I can do Bernie Sanders Twitter. I just looked and didn't see any live stream there. We can check the Facebook one, seeing videos of people marching. Bernie Sanders Facebook. It'd be ideal if it was on YouTube, just so I don't have to, the sizing of the video might not work quite right if we're switching back and forth between a YouTube and a Facebook stream. Not seeing anything on Bernie's Facebook page either. So I'm going to need you guys to help me out with that, and where we can find the Bernie live stream on YouTube. Let me do another search here. Bernie Sanders rally. And then we will, of course, filter by live. And yeah, still not seeing anything, unfortunately. Very, very unfortunate. So anyway, maybe via Super Chat is the easiest way to get the message to me about where to pick up that rally. A lot of people I see are asking, by how much do I believe Joe Biden is going to win in South Carolina tomorrow? I have said, let me actually pull up the polling numbers. I have said that I do believe Joe Biden is going to win South Carolina. Let's see here. South Carolina numbers. Biden right now winning by 16. Oh, we can't even see that, actually. Hold on. 16, 21, 9, 4. I believe Biden. So there are people who are conservatively estimating that Biden is going to win by 4 to 5. I actually think Biden's going to win more like by 8 or 10 or even more than that. But we will see. We will see. Let me say thank you to the Mike Lennon, who has subscribed for 5 months in a row with Twitch Prime. Mike says, love the show, David. As always, Twitch subscriptions and your messages show up in the vertical blue box in the upper right, and super chats on YouTube show up in the lower left. None so far. None so far, which is very, very depressing. I see that are we dealing with trolls, guys? It seems that people on YouTube are complaining that there are people trolling. As I've said before, political disagreements are fine. Trumpists are welcome, and I'm not worried about that. But we don't allow personal attacks, and we don't allow we don't allow hate speech, anti-Semitism, racism, or racism even, any of that stuff. You will get banned, and the moderators have been fully deputized. I am thinking, we've been doing a lot of coronavirus coverage. I have been thinking of getting a mask and doing the show with a mask. Not one of those cheap paper masks, but actually getting like a proper double filter respirator mask and even possibly reflective goggles and doing the show that way. I think visually it would be compelling. And the concern is that the microphone would not properly pick up my my audio, but I think that would be a really good $50 investment if I did. I'm talking about the heavy duty masks you would use, like if you're working with asbestos, for example, or something like that. I do want to show you one video, which let's see. I actually asked Aaron Rupar to find this for us earlier today. This is really wacky stuff. A guy went on Fox News and he was supposedly cleared of coronavirus, but he couldn't stop coughing.
Hopefully doctors and scientists will get a better handle on the whole situation. Fortunately, from what I understand, it is contagious, but the death rate is pretty low. So
coughing on his daughter.
Yeah, I understand the fear.
Yeah. Well, we can see you still have a cough. What do the doctors say about your own condition moving forward as we wrap this up?
And then he takes, so now he's drinking out of the water bottle. Obviously, he must not have coronavirus, but he has something. Now she's drinking.
Yeah, I'm fine. I got tested twice, negative both times. The cough, probably just nerves.
Yeah, being on TV.
Fair enough.
As time.
Anyway, so it's just like, come on, the visual aspect of this is not good. All right, we have Trump coming out now. And we got to keep it down because if the audio gets picked up, YouTube will do horrible things to me. So we're going to get that in a second. We're going to try to find the Bernie rally as well. Super chat's coming in. Thanks to Peter Lee for the super chat. Esh Daddy says, David, what will it take for Trump sycophants to see how bad he is at his job? They won't. I mean, just forget about it. Forget defeating Trump in November can't have anything to do with reliance on convincing Trumpists to vote for somebody else. It can't because they're not going to change their mind. And it's not even worth trying. Let me say thank you to Vitek Veseli, who is new member number 1 today. We have a very modest goal of just 25 new website members, and Vitek is new member number 1 today. Thanks, Vitek. Appreciate that. I am still looking for a good stream of the Bernie rally, which is scheduled to start at the bottom of the hour. If anybody has any idea on that, please let me know. I am still not finding any live streams of the Bernie Sanders rally. And if anybody can super chat me or somehow make the URL known, I would love to find good video of that. Let me also say thank you to Dr. Nex for the Twitch Prime sub, God Emperor Trump 1234 for the Twitch Prime sub, and Paradigm Shift for the Twitch Prime subs. Much appreciated. And let's see what Trump has to say here. Oh, no, we still got music. I have to be really careful with that music. Let's see. Yeah, I know. I thought that Bernie did stream on his YouTube channel, but for whatever reason, I'm not seeing any events there scheduled or active. Knowledge Gizmo says Biden lies about civil rights involvement. Shame. I'm covering that on Monday. Esh Daddy says, oh, do you think a 50-pound rabbit is a big rabbit? That strikes me as a large rabbit. I imagine most rabbits are more in the, I don't know, like 8 to 12-pound range, although I don't really know that much about rabbits, to be perfectly honest. No, I'm not seeing anything live on the Bernie YouTube channel, so I don't, it's not looking too good there. But again, as soon as somebody gets me a proper stream for Bernie, we will also follow what's going on there. Let's see if the music's down yet. It is.
All I can say is that the fake news just doesn't get it.
It's already good. I've got it maxed out, guys, by the way. It won't go any louder.
They just don't get it. Hello, Charleston, and I'm thrilled to be back in the great state of South Carolina.
Uh-oh, it's Trump's already slurring. That's not boding well.
With thousands of hard-working American patriots who believe in faith, family, God, and country. Thank you.
Things Trump never cared about until 3 years ago. Hype train happening, by the way, on
topped
Twitch.
by the number of people outside that didn't get it. If anybody would like to give up where you're standing or your seat, please raise your hand. All right.
Oh,
And
boy.
let's begin, right? Thank you all very much. Oh, this is great. No, they don't get it. You know, down the road, they have a rally for one of the people that are going to be running tomorrow. They're trying to
Imagine
get
being
to
these
100, but
kids,
they're not
and this
gonna
is what
make
your
it.
life is at this point.
So I think they're going to set up a round table. You know, that's what they do. They said, so people want to go to a rally. They end up sitting at a round table talking about their definition of impeachment.
I may have a stream with a louder audio. Let me just test it.
And I'm thrilled to be back in the great state of South Carolina.
Yeah, I think that's better. Let me bring it over here.
With thousands of hardworking American patriots who believe in faith, family, God, and country. Thank
It's
you.
a little behind there. Maybe we don't care because the audio is better.
It's a phenomenal crowd, only topped by the number of people outside that didn't get it. If anybody would like to give up where you're standing or your seat, please raise your hand. All right. Then let's begin, right? Thank you all very much. Oh, this is great. No, they don't get it. You know, down the road, they have a rally for one of the people that are going to be running tomorrow.
I see people saying the Bernie
They're
rally's
trying
live
to
on
get to
PBS
100,
YouTube.
but they're not going to make it.
Not seeing it. If someone can send me a link, that'd be great.
So I think they're going to set up a round table. You know, that's what they do. They said, so people want to go to a rally. They end up sitting at a round table talking about their definition of impeachment. Crazy. No, it's crazy. Crazy. It's a crazy deal. No, the fake news media, they've been trying to figure this out for years. They still don't get it, though. They don't get it. Look at all of those cameras. Look at all of those cameras. That's a lot of cameras.
Too loud. Okay, let me turn it down.
That's a lot of cameras, Lindsay and Tim. That's a lot of They heard you guys were here. They heard Tim was here and that Lindsay was here and that...
Imagine liking Lindsey Graham.
And they said, we're not going to attend that rally. But you know, when we heard those two guys, plus our great congressman, they're here. Great congressman. But this is an incredible time for our nation. We're thrilled to be in the midst of what we call the great American comeback, and that's what it is.
So we'll dip in and out of this. I mostly want to hear from you guys, and we know what Trump's going to do. It's just sort of background entertainment as we wait for the Bernie rally. But keep me posted. So it seems like people are saying the Bernie rally stream just isn't up yet because it's still a while until it starts. So let me do a few super chats and all that stuff. Thanks to Hero Shadow for subscribing on Twitch, and thanks to Robert08362 for the Twitch Prime sub. Appreciate that. Over on YouTube, let's see here. Ryan Nowicki says, New York Times article interviewed 93 superdelegates and found a consensus that they would vote Bernie out in a brokered convention. What's your reaction? My reaction is, yeah, we know. We know. Let's see here. SJDJ3000 says, Bernie rally is on PBS YouTube. I didn't find that. Michael Blanco says, David, will you be streaming results tomorrow? I have a possible conflict tomorrow, and I don't know yet. I want to do South Carolina results tomorrow, but I don't know if I'm going to be home to do a home stream or able to get over to the studio. So we'll see. We'll see tomorrow. Amanda Freitz is asking, am I attending the Sanders rally in Boston? I am not. It's the rally's at noon. They suggest getting to the Common at 10. I have too much going on, and I can't, 4 hours is just crazy, and the crowd and the nonsense. So I'll watch it remotely from the comfort of wherever I am. I think I'll be better off that way. Zachary Monroe. Hey, Zach, every time I hear Trump, I feel like my IQ gets lower and lower. Keep up the great DP. You are one of the only people that I trust for news. Thank you so much. Moses Ibn Moses says, do you have any thought on Russia-Turkey escalation in Idlib? Not as of yet. Not as of yet.
They can't count their votes.
Uh-oh, is Trump talking about vote counting now?
One of my people came up to me and said, Mr. President, they tried to beat you on Russia, Russia, Russia. That didn't work out too well. They couldn't do it. They tried the impeachment hoax. That was on a perfect conversation. They tried anything. They tried it over and over. They've been doing it since you got in. It's all turning. They lost. It's all turning. Think of it. Think of it. And this is their new hoax. But, we did something that's been pretty amazing.
Yeah, you put goggles on when you got that spray tan. Very, very amazing. Jimmy Bignut says, is pee stored in the balls? I would talk to a urologist, my friend, but I would Google bladder. Erythropathak says, do a live stream with L.A. gay classical liberal. I don't know what you're talking about, Erythro. Let me say thank you to Zella for subscribing for 2 months with Twitch Prime. I also want to say a huge thank you to Asmund Eidslot, who is new member number 2 of the evening, a very modest goal of 25 new members this evening. Asmund is new member number 2. SJDJ3000 says, Trump gets Rudy to Wuhan to dig dirt on virus. Yeah, that would be an interesting investigation for Rudy to participate in. Go to Wuhan and put coronavirus under physical surveillance the way they had Marie Yovanovitch, and see what they can come up with there. A lot of people furious with the Twitch chat now. It seems some people on Twitch are disgusted with what's happening in the chat. I don't notice anything particularly vile happening, but I'm certainly always curious about what's going on.
Goes up to 100,000 people a year die. And so far, we have lost nobody to coronavirus in the United States.
Imagine clapping like that has anything to do with Trump.
And it doesn't mean we won't.
Right, that's true.
We are totally prepared. It doesn't mean we won't. But think of it. You hear 35 and 40,000 people, and we've lost nobody. And you wonder, the press is in hysteria mode. CNN, fake news, and their camera just went off.
That's funny. The camera went off. I mean, obviously it's on, but...
The camera just went off. Turn it back on. Hey, by the way, hold it. Look at this. And honestly, all events are like this. It's about us. It's all about us. I wish they'd take the camera. Show the arena, please. Show the arena. They never do.
That's his new thing. He loves saying that.
They never do.
The first time.
Oh my God, that line again. Brian Campbell says, are you getting a TurboGrafx 16 Mini next month? I don't even know what that is. I'm actually curious. Is that is that some kind of is that a porn thing, or what is a TurboGrafx? I'm kidding, by the way. TurboGrafx 16 Mini, known as the PC Engine Mini in Japan and PC Core Graphics Mini in Europe, is a dedicated home video game console by Konami, modeled on NEC's TurboGrafx 16, designed by Hudson Soft. It emulates the original 16-bit hardware. This is the first I've heard of it. Let's see, it's 10,000 yen. And I don't know exactly what that's got to be about $100 US. I don't know a thing about it, but it sounds compelling. Ben Taylor says, hi, David. Hope you are well and have a good weekend. Thank you. Thorol for Beck says a few bucks to offset all the demonetization. Stay the course, fight the power. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Great to hear from you. Great to see you. We are going in and out of Trump's rally, of course. Is a Trump rally considered child abuse? I'm thinking of these three gentlemen back here, in particular this one, who seems to, it seems as though the rally has been weaponized against this child's future. That's the sense that I'm getting, but you tell me. And make sure to let me know when the Bernie rally stream comes up, and we want to hear some of that as well.
Democrats will only say horrible things, even though they know we're doing a great job. We're doing a great job with what we have to work with. It's incredible. The Democrats want us to fail so badly, even if their actions, and you take a look, hurt the people of this country.
Yeah, so this is a sick talking point. Don Jr. started up with this on Fox News, saying Democrats want hundreds of millions of Americans to die merely to make Trump look bad on coronavirus. I don't want the stock market crashing. You should see what's going on in my mutual fund account. I don't want a single person to die from coronavirus. I have some projects coming up that I don't want to see canceled because they involve a lot of travel, including maybe to your city. Imagine that. And I don't want to be dealing and constantly worried about coronavirus and the idea that they are using now, spreading that the left wants the stock market to crash and wants people to die so that Trump loses. No, that's disgusting. And even suggesting it shows how far we've fallen.
Only in South Carolina can you say that. Only in South Carolina. You're going to get us in trouble. No, I'm just repeating what he said for the fake news. I'm just repeating. No, but seriously, you know, the Academy Awards has gone way, way down in ratings. You know why? Because they started attacking us and we don't believe in it anymore. That's it.
That's not why. There's just so many options. I haven't watched the Oscars in probably 10 or 12 years or something like that. Scott Phillips says, have you resolved your recent Twitch copyright strike situation yet? Are you worried? It has been resolved. The Twitch copyright strike we got on Tuesday night during the debate stream was fraudulent from people who did not actually have the authority to strike us or any of the other people that they struck. And struck like Peter Strzok. You know, Trump likes to talk about him. And it has been removed, and we are investigating further possible action at this point in time. But we did hit a bit of a legal roadblock in that the registrar for the website that was sort of put up haphazardly to look like the real website of the claimant, the registrar won't tell us IP address info or anything like that. So we'd likely, you know, it would be quite expensive legally to really go through the entire thing. But we are investigating. We are certainly investigating. Let me say a huge thank you to Jeff Thompson. Jeff Thompson is new member number 3 tonight. We do have a very modest goal of 25 new members at joinpacman.com. We're at 3. You can get a 66% discount. Can you imagine? It's Friday at the studio. No one's here but me. So there was nobody here to stop me from doing the 66% discount. Coupon code 2020 now. Something weird seems to be going on with the video here. Seems to be kind of a weird frame rate.
A virus starts in China, bleeds its way into various countries all around the world.
Bleeds.
Doesn't spread widely at all in the United States because of the early actions that myself and my administration took.
Lie.
Against a lot of other wishes. And the Democrats' single talking point, and you see it, is that it's Donald Trump's fault, right? It's Donald Trump's fault. No, just things that happen. But you know what? This does show you things happen. Whoever thought of this 2 weeks ago? Who would have thought this could be going on 4 weeks ago? You wouldn't. But things happen.
We've been talking about it for months. I mean, honestly, what on earth is this guy talking about? 2 weeks ago, who could have thought that this would be going on? That shows you what kind of a fantasy world this guy is regularly living in. Zachary Monroe. Oh, wait, let's see. Eddie X. Gee says Bernie rally starts in 10 minutes. Great. I'm checking the Bernie YouTube channel and I don't see. Oh, okay. We now have. Very good. So let's get that up. Bernie's YouTube channel has gone live. And very, very nice. Okay. So let me actually get set up properly here. I want to get all of the right things here. So we've got that. Just excuse me one moment, folks. Don't adjust your television. Everything is working fine. And then we've got the Bernie rally. There we go. So I'm going to keep the volume up here just so we can, we'll hear it when it goes live. And Springfield, Massachusetts, perfect. The old stomping grounds of the David Pakman Show, by the way. Zachary Monroe says, do you think it's possible for Bernie to win any conservative states, Texas, Alabama, Louisiana? Probably not. No, I don't think so. I don't think any Democrat is going to win most of those states. And it's really going to ultimately come down to Pennsylvania, Ohio, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Florida will be important. The normal states are going to be the important ones. If Bernie wins Alabama or Texas, it's going to be such a landslide that it won't even matter that he won those states, because it will mean that the entire thing has gone historically against Donald Trump. Dillinger Siatic says, will replacing MAGA with CAG, Keep America Great, be a political liability? Also, who should or shouldn't drop out after South Carolina? Well, we have to see the results to know who should drop out after South Carolina. It's probably going to mean, I mean, listen, Tulsi still doesn't have a path to a single delegate. She should be gone. If Steyer doesn't get some delegates, he should drop. Otherwise, I don't think anybody else really would be well advised to drop before Super Tuesday. You might as well stay in. Let me say thank you over on Twitch, where it's been quiet on Twitch, but I want to say thank you to KMath95. KMath95 has subscribed with Twitch Prime. I very much appreciate that. I also want to say thank you to a very special person this evening, Bethany Hudgens. That was odd. Bethany Hudgens is new member. No, everything going wrong tonight. New member number 4. Thank you, Bethany. I appreciate that. 4 of 25 at joinpacman.com. For people asking whether I will be live with results tomorrow, I don't know yet. It depends on my schedule. I've got a bunch of stuff going on tomorrow. Might have family in town. I would like to stream South Carolina results tomorrow. Does anyone know if it's the normal schedule where we would get results around 8 or 9 p.m.? That's what I'm assuming in kind of thinking of my plans. A user who has just kind of like a face made with punctuation says, would Schiffy beat Trump in a knife duel? Absolutely. Adam Schiff, I think, is 49 years old. Trump's an obese 73-year-old. Trump stands no chance whatsoever. Mark Chadow sends a super chat. Will Schroeder says, what about Bernie Sanders' Twitch? We got it. We found the Bernie rally, and we are standing by for Bernie Sanders in Springfield, Massachusetts. Ranch Elder says nobody knew healthcare could be so complicated. I know, right? It was completely unpredictable. Who could have imagined? Noidb says, whoops, WWLP.com, Bernie interview, then rally. We're good. We've got a stream. Also, Rand says, would you agree there are similarities between Trump's voice inflections during public speaking and those of evangelical preachers? Not really. Not really. I don't notice that. Let me take a listen.
NBC, I think, which is, we call it MSDNC, right? MSDNC. But NBC, I think, is worse than CNN. I actually do. And Comcast, a company that spends millions and millions of dollars on their image. And that is Bernie Sanders. I'll do everything possible.
Oh, looks like we've got an intro going.
Is the one person in this race who I have ever seen consistently fighting for the issues I have been waiting my whole life for a candidate to talk about.
My guess is I know a bunch of people in the crowd
now
here.
We need everyone
it's where I grew up
to work as hard as we possibly can from now until Tuesday so that we can win in Massachusetts. And then we need everyone in this room to keep doing everything possible throughout the rest of the campaign season so we can win around the country and win the Democratic nomination and then win all the way to victory in November. So I don't think I have to ask, but are you with me?
Wow.
Are we going to work hard?
All right, we'll keep an eye on this and see when Bernie comes out. Should be any second. Oh, actually, is it now? Is Bernie coming out?
Please welcome to the stage the former president of the Massachusetts Teacher Association and organizer of Labor Notes, Barbara Mandaloni.
Oh, wait a second. Barbara Mandaloni. This was one of my high school's teacher's wives, I think. Let's see. Yeah, that's her.
Bernie!
Wow.
So I'm here tonight.
Wild stuff going on. Okay, let me keep answering questions till Bernie comes out. Joseph Sedegati says, how many days at the gym are leg days? You know, really just, I think I do like 1 day a week. Some people might have seen my tweet today that I was at the gym. Yeah, I think I do one day a week of legs. That's pretty good for me. Being Argentinian, you know, legs aren't a problem for me. Try to interpret that one. Let me say thank you to Philip Collier, who is new member number 5 of the evening at joinpacman.com. Help us get to 25 new members. It's such a modest goal. We should be able to do it quickly at joinpacman.com. And I'll say great things about you as well. If John McKinney says, if Trump loses re-election, do you think during his meltdown, do you think he'll have a heart attack? I would never wish that on him or anyone, but it's a realistic possibility. He may be rich, but he is human. I have no idea, but Trump is not in good health. James Montalbano says, be careful. Don't let Bernie's lawyers get your channel taken down on a DMCA claim. Keep up the work, David. That would be the tops, wouldn't it? Jen's Creative Exploration says, thank you with a $10 super chat. Mark Chadow says, looking forward to voting in a new and improved prez. Okay. Matthew Gauthier has signed up on YouTube. Stun Ever says, fork yes, Bernie for president. We are hearing from someone I know personally, Barbara Mandaloni, related to Mr. Mandaloni of Western Massachusetts fame. Let's listen to a little bit of what she has to say.
To Arizona, to Los Angeles, educators have been rising up and fighting for public education and the public good. Educators are teaching us about what it means when we use our collective power. They've been leading the movement in bringing parents and students and the community together to fight for the public good. Of course, here...
All right, so I think mostly we want to see what Bernie has to say, so we will keep an eye on that. Let me say thanks to Joseph Murphy. Joseph Murphy is new member number 6 tonight. Thank you, Joseph. I so appreciate your support. Joseph brutally taking advantage of the coupon code 2020 now, which is up there, which is a 66% discount. Absolutely brutal. No, I'm kidding. We love giving discounts. Clockwork Pineapple says, do you follow British politics or are you put off by the whole Falklands thing? No, because I'm Argentinian. No, I'm not put off by the Falklands thing. And I follow British politics to a degree. Followed Brexit, followed the Theresa May situation, Boris Johnson a bit. We follow it to some degree. Miguel Palacios thanks. So does that mean the swing states are the only ones that matter in general since the rest are either blue or red? Basically, yeah. I mean, because we don't have a national popular vote, we have an electoral college. Really what the election comes down to is the contested states that are the ones that can swing an election. If you go to 538, you can actually see which states are disproportionately likely to decide who wins and therefore have disproportionately large amounts of power in the process. Let me say thank you to Alpha Buds for subscribing with Twitch Prime. We are at, people are asking where we are on Twitch subscriptions. We are at 1,146. I would love to get to 1,200. We're just 54 away over on Twitch, which means if 10% of the people watching on Twitch were to sign up, we would get to 1,200. Let's see. Let's just briefly see what's happening at the Trump rally, see what he's ranting about.
Soleimani ending his evil reign of terror forever.
Terror. I just feel so bad for these kids right here.
But as we keep on winning, Washington Democrats keep on losing their minds. They've gone crazy. I mean, nervous Nancy, crying Chuck Schumer, crying Chuck. Bunch of losers. The good citizens of South Carolina have had a front row seat to the extremism of the Democrat candidates, whether it's this character that nobody ever heard of him. I never heard of. I thought I knew all the wealthy people. This guy, Tom Steyer, Mr. Impeachment. How did that work out, Tom?
Boy.
Hey,
I want him to say mini.
he spent millions and millions of dollars in Iowa, right? Millions. He got less than 1%. He got like 1/3 of 1%. I wrote a little note. Did you see it? It said, Tom, it's not so easy doing what I did, is it? Not so easy.
Please mention
so
mini.
easy. All you have to do is ask Mini Mike. He's in there for a fortune. He wished he never started. He wished he never... Mini Mike, he wished he never started. He said, well, Trump can do it.
Anybody notice this kid seems to have quite a twitch going? It's kind of an unusual thing, maybe triggered by the idiocy of what Donald Trump is saying. Still standing by for Bernie Sanders, just down the road from us in Springfield, Massachusetts. Let's see. People on Twitch complaining about slow mode. Okay, we can speed that up because there's fewer people in the chat right now. We'll switch to 5-second instead of 30-second mode as we wait for Bernie Sanders here. Let me say a massive thank you to, I like this name, Sable Augustin. Sable Augustin is new member number 7 of the evening. Jacob Hemerick is new member number 8 of the evening. And Knowledge Gizmo Anderson is new member number 9 of the evening at joinpacman.com. Thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate those memberships. Over on YouTube, let's look at some super chats. Casper from Denmark says, hi, David. With the different polls showing different results, I was wondering if there are right-wing and left-wing polling companies, and are there companies that you consider especially trustworthy? I don't have any special knowledge on this. You can look at 538's ranking of pollsters, which outlines all of that. Barbara Caldwell has grabbed a YouTube membership. Thanks, Barbara. Miss Nene sends a super chat. Robert Grady has grabbed a YouTube membership. Bob Simon says, I love you, David, and the David Pakman coffee. You know, Bob, I appreciate that. We ended the David Pakman Show coffee a few months ago because we decided it's not selling enough for the amount of work that it is to maintain the program. So we sadly shut the whole thing down. But it was great while it lasted. I still drink coffee. I just no longer am in the business of selling coffee. Shaner's 1981 says the Don doesn't seem to be able to control the volume of his voice. Yeah, I mean, Trump's delivery and speech patterns are bizarre, to say the least. Let me say thank you to Sparefoot for the 6-month Twitch Prime subscription and Gubber Nubbits for the Twitch Prime subscription. That puts us 52 Twitch subscriptions away from our goal of 1,200. Very, very exciting. I see that we have moderators on Twitch admonishing people in the audience, steering them away from personal attacks. You love to see it. You love to see it. We want to encourage all sorts of different conversation and debate, but we don't want personal attacks. That is for damn sure. Mark Tenenbaum says, thoughts on Bernie's eat the rich rhetoric, billionaires shouldn't exist, and policies, wealth tax 8% after 10 billion, effectively a maximum wealth. It'll never pass. If it helps him get votes, good for him. It will never pass. That's essentially my thought on it at this point in time. And in fact, a whole bunch, it's not unique to Democrats or Republicans that things that they say they are going to do during their campaigns aren't going to pass. And that doesn't mean we ignore it because it still tells us what they want to do. But a lot of this stuff will never pass. And that applies to a whole bunch of different policies, many of which I know you all know. I already believe. Let me say thank you to Sean Scott. Sean Scott is new member number 10 of the evening, 10 of 25. Really appreciate your support. Let's see what's going on now, getting the crowd fired up here.
And who finally fixes our broken healthcare system by implementing Medicare for all. In Western in Massachusetts, people are feeling the weight of ever-rising healthcare costs and the brokenness of our system. In my district, one man told me how he has mass health coverage, and that was the only way he stayed out of debt when his heart stopped and he needed a pacemaker. But when he was offered a promotion at work, he couldn't take it for fear of losing that coverage. Another woman who is caring for her adult son who had a stroke said that he needed 10 sessions of physical therapy a week to get better.
Yeah, the stories that are unfortunately all too common, and we hear them all the time.
They hate me. They're going to put this all over the place. We have a poll of like 30,000 people inside and out. They're doing it outside too. We have a poll. Are you ready? Who do I? So in other words, who's the weaker of the two? I'm not interested in who does better. No, I'm not interested. Wait. So, ready? In other words, who do I want to run against? Meaning, very simple. We put it into nice, simple language. Who the hell is easier to beat? Right? So, who is easier for us, not me, for us to beat? Ready? Crazy Bernie? Or Sleepy Joe?
I'm going to put together a tweet, if you guys don't mind, just pointing out the insane, okay. Watching both Trump and Bernie rallies right now, the stark difference between the two in every way is stunning. Not just level of English proficiency, misspelled, by the way, but messaging and adherence to reality. It is quite stunning. It is really quite stunning, the difference between these two rallies.
Than her, even though I have none. I have none. Zero. I have none. I have none. I said I have more Indian blood in me than she has.
Oh, God. Can you imagine? Let me say thank you to Lois Brown, who is new member number 11 today. Thanks, Lois. I appreciate that. Also want to say thank you to Emma Giffen, who is new member number 12 today. Thank you so much. We are roughly halfway to our goal of 25 new members. You can sign up at joinpacman.com. It's quick, it's easy, it's cheap, it's delightful. I will say your name, and then it becomes a real party.
One thing you will say about me, I'm not a choker with all these people for years. They're after me for years. We can't have chokers. We can't have chokers as your president. So, Elizabeth Warren's plan to eliminate America's borders, so that's what you would, or Mini Mike's plan to eliminate your Second Amendment and take away your guns. How about that?
Oh my God, this kid.
Mini Mike wants to take away your guns. The insanity of the Democrat Party is why millions of registered Democrat voters are joining our movement. They are...
I don't know about millions. That I'm unsure about. Michael Kramer says, what does seizing the means of production mean in a post-industrial economy? Is the government going to nationalize app developers and retail stores? Again, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Thorolfer Beck says, is the comment mail section of your webpage being monitored, i.e. a functioning B2B communication channel? B2B, business to business. Listen, I'm gonna tell you guys something that we don't usually talk about here at the David Pakman Show. Okay. So if Bernie comes out, then you're not going to hear this. But let's just see who's coming out next, because I'm going to explain something to folks in the audience here, which you might find interesting. Okay, wait, we've got music going on. Is Bernie coming out now? Because if so, we're gonna listen to Bernie a little bit. So listen, here's the thing. We have a contact form on our website. Oh, Bernie is coming out. Okay, remind me to tell this story later, because we have a whole system, actually.
Thank you, Springfield.
And why is the level low all of a sudden? I've got it absolutely maxed out. Okay, that music is going to get us in trouble probably. Hopefully they're turning it down now.
There are a few people here tonight. Thank you all very much for coming out. Let me begin by thanking Bela Fleck for that great music. Let me thank Effie Harrigan. Let me thank Representative Paul Mark. Let me thank Barbara Mataloni.
Barb.
And I want to thank Senator Jamie Eldridge and Representative Lindsay Sabadosa, because they are fighting for exactly what all of us are fighting for, health care as a human right.
Human.
We are here together for two fundamental purposes. Number one, we are united as a people. We are united together to make sure that we defeat Donald Trump, the worst president in the modern history of this country.
Right.
Donald Trump is a pathological liar.
I love that.
And no matter what your political view may be, you know that we cannot continue having someone whose word means nothing because he lies all the time.
That's true.
Donald Trump is running one of the most corrupt administrations in the history of this country.
It's terror, quite frankly.
Donald Trump apparently never read the Constitution of the United States. And every day, with his attacks on the media, with his attacks on the judiciary, with his attacks on Congress, he is undermining American democracy and moving this country toward an autocracy.
Now, just for contrast, let's now look at the Trump rally.
You know that, right? He's the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee. So important. So important. Senator Graham has been leading the charge to help us confirm a record number of judges to uphold the Constitution as written.
So over here you have Trump bragging about the horrible people that he has been appointing potentially for life. And then here we have an actual positive message.
President, he said, Donald Trump, I'm a friend of working people. Now that is the biggest crock that I have ever heard. Trump promised the American people that he would provide health care to everybody. And yet as president, he tried to throw 32 million people off of the health care they have. Tried to do away with the protections that people with pre-existing conditions have. When Trump was running for office, he said, well, my tax plan is going to benefit working families, not the rich. He lied. 83% of the benefits of that plan that he pushed through over a 10-year period goes to the top 1%. Donald Trump said, you know, I am a different type of Republican. I'm not going to cut Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security. He lied. Take a look at his budgets year after year calling for massive cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. We are going to defeat Donald Trump because the American people are sick and tired of a government that works for the rich and ignores everybody else.
That message of economic populism fundamentally is really what this is about, right? It's sort of Trump's faux populism, which even if it was real, would be right populism, which is not that far. Actually, if people really want to dig into this stuff, check out Federico Finkelstein's work. He's a fellow Argentinian Jew like me, I might add. Who cares? I'm just kidding around. But he teaches at the New School in New York City. And he has talked about how populism in some sense has its roots in totalitarian fascism. In its application, of course, it's a very different thing. Trump's version of right populism has a lot in common with fascism and authoritarianism, as many of you probably noticed. Let me thank a couple people, and then we'll get back to the speeches. I want to say thanks to Carolina for gifting a tier 1 sub on Twitch. Invalid Axiom has subscribed for 3 months. I so appreciate that. Let me say thank you. If you're just joining us, we do have a goal of 25 new members tonight. Let me say thanks to Richard Gaston, who is new member number 13 tonight, and Hunter Rupnick, who is new member number 14 tonight. Over on YouTube via Super Chat, I want to say thanks to Phil Kelly. And Gabriel Fernandez says, do you think the Cuba comments ruined Bernie's chances in Florida? My Cuban family is now against him. Can Democrats win without Florida? Well, the question about the primary in Florida is a different one than the general. I'm not even thinking about the general yet. We have to see who comes away victorious in Florida in the primary. Florida, of course, not voting on Super Tuesday. I think they vote later in March, if I recall correctly. Let me also say thank you to Diz Ethan Slamberry for the Twitch Prime sub and Dan of Earth for the Twitch Prime sub. Let's listen to a little bit of Trump. Oh, no, it's Tim. We don't want to hear Tim Scott or Lindsey Graham speak. We'll stick with the Bernie rally for now.
It is a movement that says to the corporate elite, you cannot have it all. We're coming back. And what this campaign is doing is bringing together blacks and whites and Latinos, Native Americans, Asian Americans, the gay community, the straight community. We are standing together for an agenda that works for all of us, not just wealthy campaign contributors. And I'll tell you one of the things that I'm very, very proud of, and I want all of you to be proud of. Our campaign does not have a super PAC.
Okay, let's talk about this a little bit because this has become an important thing. And so here's the deal. It's true that Bernie doesn't have a super PAC, and that's great. It's gotten a little slippery when people talk about, well, what about super PACs that support Bernie? And Bernie's right that he can't control what other super PACs do. I think that this entire issue needs to be reframed. And the way I would reframe it is, listen, I can't control what other people do. I can't control why other people support me. And right now, it's legal to have a super PAC and support whoever the hell you want. What I can tell you is this. I don't have a super PAC. Any means to get me into office instead of Trump is good. And once I'm there, I will try to fix the system of broken campaign finance. I think that it's going to get a little slippery otherwise, because having a super PAC versus benefiting from super PACs that support you, it starts to become gray. If I were Bernie, and I'm not, I would try to have some language about, I might be supported. Who knows who supports me? I don't have a super PAC, and I would work to end super PACs if I were president of the United States, or something along those lines. And I would be fine with that. I wouldn't be dissuaded from voting for Bernie if he said, listen, if I'm the nominee, there's going to be money pouring in from all sorts of super PACs. They won't be mine. I don't care. Defeating Trump is the most important thing. And once I defeat Trump, I'll fix this campaign finance system that's broken. That would resonate with me, and I would be totally comfortable with that. I don't care.
Wall Street is getting nervous.
That's for sure.
The insurance industry is getting nervous. The drug companies who charge us the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, they're getting nervous.
I haven't heard this part of the stump speech before.
The fossil fuel industry that's destroying this planet getting nervous.
the prison industrial complex, they're getting nervous.
I see people who are saying that I'm making a bullshit argument about super PACs. I'm not making an argument. All I'm saying is Bernie, if he's the nominee, will be the beneficiary of a whole bunch of super PAC money, and people are going to try to call him out on it. And I would like to see him circumvent that in advance. I'm not making any argument. It's like I'm just the messenger here, and I'm giving an opinion as to what the message should be. I'm not making an argument one way or the other.
And what they say is oh, Bernie can't beat Trump. Well, I would urge them to take a look at the last 60 national polls. And they will find that 56 out of 60 times we beat Trump. I would urge them to take a look at battleground states like Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. We beat Trump. See, they're not worried that I can't beat Trump. They're worried that we will beat Trump. And the reason we're going to beat Trump is because of you. Right now, as we speak, all over this country, as we approach Super Tuesday, there are thousands and thousands of people knocking on doors, making the telephone calls that we have to make. That is why we won the popular vote in Iowa, why we won New Hampshire, why we won Nevada.
And of course, tomorrow, February 29th, the South Carolina primary, and we will have those results for you. Let me say thanks to a few other Twitch subscribers. Tylen says, hair looking good as always, fellow David. Thank you. Q79 has subscribed with Prime. Donkey Show has subscribed at Tier 1. Zippo Lincoln Mercury has subscribed with Prime. Let me read a couple of super chats here. Hound Dog says, do you think Bernie could win states like West Virginia or Kentucky in the general if he campaigned hard enough there on economic populism and healthcare? I don't think so, but here's what you have to understand. Even if he could, if Bernie could win West Virginia with enough work, that amount of work would, if put into Wisconsin and North Carolina and Ohio or Pennsylvania, more easily win him those. So there's no world in which, like, if Bernie's going to win West Virginia with enough effort, that means more moderate states he would definitely win, which means West Virginia wouldn't matter in the final math of it. So that's what you have to consider. Ryan Meineke says, thank you for being a voice of reason and calm consideration during these turbulent times. Please keep up the good work and enjoy the $5. Thank you, Ryan. Addie D says, can you get that Portuguese dog on the David Pakman show? Love that dog. Oh yeah, on on my Instagram page, there's video of a Portuguese dog, not a Portuguese water dog, just a dog in Portugal that loves my show. And also, I posted my new professional headshot today. Maybe I'm kidding. And people are going absolutely bonkers, saying that that my career would be over if I started using the picture I posted today to my Instagram account as my professional headshot. Let's listen just a little bit to Trump. And remember, we're looking at the contrast here between the Trump rally and the Bernie rally.
Black poverty levels are the lowest ever recorded in the history of our country. For decades, Democrat politicians betrayed African Americans. They forced their children into failing schools. They shipped their jobs to foreign countries. They pushed their unfair sentencing policies. You know about that. Alice, you know Alice? And they favored illegal aliens over their own constituents. You know that. That's been
okay. And then in contrast, the Bernie rally.
Culture of America. You know, people fought and died.
No prompter.
People fought and died for our right to vote. And we have got to stand up and fight for democracy, get involved in the political process. So, you know, politically correct, not using a plastic bottle. Now, what does it mean? You know, some of you may have seen the food fight that appeared to be a debate the other night. And that's sad, because we need serious discussion. There are a lot of serious crises facing this country, and they have to be discussed. And that was not a mechanism to do that. But what politics is about really, when you get beyond what media tries to do, it's not complicated. It is saying, what is going on in our country today? How did we get to where we are? And where do we want to go? And when we talk about where we want to go, I always remember a brilliant short statement by Nelson Mandela. And what Mandela said, I want you to think about what he said. He said, everything is impossible until it happens. Everything is impossible until it happens. It was impossible 100+ years ago for workers to form a union. Couldn't happen. It was impossible for the African American community to stand up and get the right to vote and to defeat racism. Impossible for women to get the right to vote.
So in contrast to this message, again, just for comparison, the Trump rally.
You know it better than anybody. You had those empty hulks all over the country, all over this state. All around the world, we are demanding trade that is fair, and my all-time favorite word, reciprocal. Reciprocal. Got to be fair.
He learned that word last week.
After years of building up other countries, we are finally rebuilding our country.
Finally.
We are finally putting America first.
America first. So again, allusions to nationalist and even anti-Semitic overtones, while Bernie, working with no teleprompter, actually talking about lifting people up.
Of reality. Don't listen to Congress and their definition of reality. Ask yourself where this great country should be going. And then when you do that, and when you look at the issues facing the country, and you know them better than I, and then you say where we want to go, the answers are not hard. Number one, never ever forget that today you are living in the wealthiest country in the history of the world. That's what you are, but nobody knows it, because almost all of the income and wealth goes to the top 1%. So when we look at the issues, we say, okay, in America today, we have tens and tens of millions of people who are working for starvation wages. That's a fact. We're going to raise the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. We're going to end the absurdity of women making 80 cents on the dollar compared to men.
I wish someone would get Bernie the right math on that, because that 80-cent number is not the right number. And I don't know. Forgive me in that I care about the exact facts. I feel like somebody should get him the right number on that, but there would probably be political repercussions because a lot of people still believe the 80-cent number.
We have a proposal in that in a 4-year period will double the number of workers in the trade union movement. This is the wealthiest country on earth. Our infrastructure, roads, bridges.
For people asking for the right number, it's about 91 cents on the dollar. We've got a deep dive on this on our channel, and that's still not okay, but I think we just need to work with what is actually the right number.
Of good paying union jobs. In America, 500,000 people should not be homeless tonight, and 18 million families should not be spending 50% of their income on housing. We're going to build 10 million units of low-income and affordable housing. And when we talk about an agenda that works for working people, we understand that there is nothing more important than education. We understand that 0 through 4 are the most important years of human development. And we cannot understand why we continue to have a dysfunctional child care system. And that is why together we will have universal, high-quality, affordable child care for every family in America.
All right, let's briefly check in on the Trump rally momentarily. Let me first make sure I'm thanking everybody. Donkey Show, thank you again for gifting another sub. Donkey Show has now gifted 80 subs on our channel, only 90 behind the #1 gifter, Turkey, Bacon, and Cheese. Also want to say thanks to MC98TW2018 for the Twitch Prime sub, and Mrs. Bass Dude. Appreciate you as well. Let me say a huge thank you to Donna Reed, who is new member number 15 this evening at joinpacman.com, as well as Crystal Patterson, who's new member number 16 tonight. Let's take a brief check-in. We are sort of switching back and forth between the two rallies. Here's Donald Trump's rally.
Kill last year. How many people did you kill last year with a knife because they like knives? Because it's more painful. This is the kind of people that we were letting into our country. ICE has taken them out of our country by the thousands, Last year, ICE officers arrested 12,000 criminal aliens charged or convicted.
So here Trump's bragging about Hispanic people getting arrested. Let's see what Bernie's talking about.
The best and the brightest into education, and I hope many of you will give thought to becoming teachers. And my view is that no teacher in America should earn less than $60,000 a year. And if you believe in education, you understand that free public education is not just K through 12. We've got to make public colleges and universities tuition free. And if you think outside of the box, and if you think about a government that represents workers and not billionaires, then you ask yourself, how did it happen that 12 years ago, against my vote, Congress voted to bail out the crooks on Wall Street? How did it happen that 2 years ago, Trump gave his billionaire friends and large corporations a $1 trillion tax cut? Well, if we could bail out the crooks on Wall Street, you know what we can do? We can cancel all student debt in America. And let me pick up on a point that Jamie Eldridge and Lindsay Sabadosa talked about. And that is, we will end the international disgrace of being the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to every man, woman, and child as a human right. And I want all of you to understand this. Right now in America, we are spending twice as much as the people in Canada and in virtually every other major country. We are spending $11,000 for every man, woman, and child for health care. That is an outrageous sum of money. But for all of that money, we end up with 87 million people uninsured or underinsured. And let me tell you about underinsured means that you got high deductibles, high copayment, and you hesitate to go to a doctor when you should. And as a result,
that's going to get ugly real quick when people should be seen and treated for coronavirus, but they are underinsured. The way that Bernie Sanders is talking about is going to get ugly very, very quick. Let me say thank you to a couple of other people who have grabbed memberships on my website. I want to say thanks to David Calmere, who is new member number 17. And, I guess that's it. Super chat questions continuing to come in on YouTube. Nexus sends a super chat. If Trump drops Pence for Nikki Haley, do you think that would be a game changer? In my opinion, it would be the excuse a lot need to vote for Trump, enough to matter. I am not even thinking about that because I find it so inconceivable that Donald Trump is going to change his running mate. If you have reason to suspect otherwise, by all means, let me know. Let's see what's happening at Trump's MAGA rally, which I believe should almost count as child abuse if you bring underage kids to it.
In 4 years from now for your trial. And about 2% come back, and they're the ones that are the dumbest people I've ever seen. 2%. Nobody comes back. It's crazy, but we're getting it changed, and it would be so easy. They're called loopholes. Loopholes, that word alone, they're called loopholes. It would be so easy if we had some Democrat support. We don't have any Democrat support. They want open borders. They don't care about crime. Border Patrol has seized the largest amount of deadly narcotics ever in the history of our country this last year. We have deported record numbers of gang members. We are building the wall faster than ever, and we will soon be building more than 1 mile a day.
That is very much untrue.
Washington Democrats have never been more extreme. 132 congressional Democrats have signed up for Bernie Sanders' health care takeover. They want to take away your health care.
Signed up. Even that terminology is a joke.
Obama talked about it. 100 years of talk is enough. Now is the time for action. Last year, while 87 million people were uninsured or underinsured, and we paid the highest prices in the world for drugs, the healthcare industry made $100 billion in profit. So today we say to the healthcare industry, the function of a rational and humane healthcare system is to provide quality care for all, not to make billions in profits for the healthcare industry. Now, we got a president who embarrasses us every day, but he is also embarrassing and endangering the entire world. Donald Trump continues to believe that climate change is a hoax. Well, I myself think that Donald Trump is a hoax.
That's not a bad line. It's a wholesome line.
Now, I'm going to make a radical suggestion to you. Are you all ready for a radical suggestion?
Don't vote Trump.
Now, we got emergency medical service available if anybody collapses. But here it comes. Our administration will believe in science. And what the scientists are telling us is that the situation regarding climate change is even worse than they had previously thought. What they are saying is they have underestimated the speed and severity in which climate change is ravaging our country and the planet. What they are telling us is that the polar ice caps are melting at a faster rate than they had previously thought, that the oceans are warming at a faster rate than they had thought, and the sea levels are going up and up at a faster rate. What they are telling us is that there is more drought than they had anticipated, more extreme weather disturbances. What they are telling us is that the ocean is becoming more acidic, which means fish are dying and people who get their protein from the ocean will no longer be able to do that. And what the United Nations is telling us is if we don't get our act together, there will be several 100 million climate refugees by the end of the century. That is what the scientists, not Bernie Sanders, that's what the scientists are telling us. And that is why, unapologetically, I have introduced the most sweeping climate change proposal ever introduced by any candidate for federal office. Based on the principles of the Green New Deal. This proposal will create up to 20 million good-paying union jobs. as we transform our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energy. And because climate change is obviously not just an American issue, but a global issue, my job, if I'm elected president, is to tell China, tell Russia, tell India, tell Pakistan that we are in this together. And that maybe, just maybe, instead of spending $1.8 trillion a year on weapons of destruction, maybe we should pool our resources, fight our common enemy, which is climate change. And when we talk about issues that must be addressed, we have got to deal with a broken and racist criminal justice system. It is not acceptable to me, nor to you, that we have more people in jail today, disproportionately African American, Latino, and Native American, than any other country on earth. And that is why together we are going to invest in our young people, making sure they have good jobs.
All right, we're getting now to the sort of stock part of Bernie's stump speech. So let me answer some questions. Hound Dog says, ever noticed that the stars on the Republican logo are pentagrams? No, I have not noticed that. Jenna Killpop says, keep up the quality hard work, David. Thanks, Jenna. Thanks to Catherine Brown for signing up. Miguel Palacios says, Medicare for All would get people to be on waiting list to see a doctor, since everyone is going to want to visit the best doctor in town. What are your thoughts? If you go from having no care to having care, and your choices are to visit a perfectly fine board-certified doctor or, quote, the best doctor and having to wait, I think most people are just going to go to a doctor. That's my sense of it. Ryan Meneke says, me again, it's pronounced Meineke. Okay, Ryan Meineke. I noticed you mentioned the impact the coronavirus will have on the healthcare system when it begins to spread here. Would you make a video about the risk it poses to the United States? We already have a number of videos about that, and it is a major, major issue. Let me say thank you to Matthias van Romberg, who is new member number 18 of the evening at joinpacman.com. Thanks, Matthias. Let me also say thank you to HJ Munworks for the Twitch Prime subscription, and Mo Ron has subscribed with Twitch and says nothing other than radical. Let's listen to a bit of what's going on with Trump.
Republican Party. You know, they came to me, a group of people, and they wanted criminal justice reform. And I wasn't sure about the issue, but we had a lot of great Republicans very much in favor of it, including people that happen to be right here today. And they were very much...
He's referring to Tim Scott, because Tim's black, guys. That's what he's referring to.
And criminal justice reform, you saw Alice Johnson come out of prison, 22 years. She had another 20 years left, think of it, for a phone call. For a phone call. A great woman, but we have many people coming out that shouldn't be there for anywhere near those terms. Not for those terms. But they came to see me, a group of people came. Van Jones, he came up. Oh, thank you, sir. They needed 4 senators. They needed help. I called Lindsey. I called everybody. I called Tim, who's so great on everything. I called everybody. They needed 4 senators and maybe 5. And they needed help with some of the ones that weren't moving in the right direction. And I gave it to them, and I got it, and it was not easy. And we got criminal justice reform. And
what a hero.
And then this Van Jones has a program that gets no ratings absolutely at all. And they say, Van Jones wants to thank everybody for criminal justice reform. So I called our great First Lady over. I said, darling, please take a look. It's going to be so nice. Because honestly, look, they couldn't have done even close without me. I got all these people together.
Man, it's just delirium. It's complete and total delirium over there.
Now, as a member of the United States Senate, I hear a lot of speeches on the Senate floor, and I hear them from conservative Republicans who tell us that they believe in small government and they believe in getting the government off the backs of the American people. Well, I say to those hypocrites, if you believe in getting the government off the backs of the American people, understand that it is women who have a right to control their own bodies, not the government. So here is a promise you can take to the bank. I will never nominate anyone to the Supreme Court or the federal bench who is not 100% pro Roe v. Wade.
There you go.
We will fight to codify, put into law, Roe v. Wade.
It'll be tough, but okay.
Trump and his friends want to severely cut funding for Planned Parenthood.
Ooh.
Well, we've got some bad news for them because we're going to expand funding for Planned Parenthood.
Some good questions coming in that I want to keep answering here. Extreme Tuber 7 says, so we have downer Trump and upper Trump. What do you call the middle of that? Yeah, I don't know. Tonight it's kind of a weird in between. AC0510 is asking, is Trump really sweaty? He does seem quite sweaty. It's hard to tell exactly what's going on. You know, I've seen Trump sweatier. His upper lip does seem a little bit glossy there, but I don't know. Let's see. Wormwood says, David, stop shilling for big hair. I can't help it. I can't help it. If you want to see big hair, check out my the picture I posted to Instagram today. Eric O says, I felt compelled to make a video explaining why ACA Volume 2 plus public options / Medicare for all who want it are terrifying, and we need M4A from an MD perspective. A real doctor reacts to the current Democratic healthcare debate. Okay, that is a mouthful, but thank you. I appreciate that. Let me say thanks to Jennifer Coate, who is new member number 19 of the evening. If we do get to 25 new members, I will wide open the phone lines when these rallies are over. We are only 6 new members away at joinpacman.com from that level.
That every family in America has its share of problems, and when my family cares about your family, and your family cares about my family, we all do better.
Better.
And the other thing that us, not me, reflects is an understanding of the power structure in America, something that is not talked about terribly much in the media. And what it means is that no president, and I'm the only candidate I think would tell you this, no president, Bernie Sanders or anybody else, can do it alone. Because what we are doing is taking on extraordinary power. I know these guys. I'm a senator. I know Wall Street, and I know the insurance companies, and I know the drug companies, and I know the fossil fuel industry, and I know the military-industrial complex. I know the prison-industrial complex. I know their incredible power and their enormous amounts of money that they have. They are very, very powerful. If we are going to transform this country, the only way we do it is together. When millions of working people stand up and demand decent wages, we're going to get decent wages. When people stand up and say we're not going to pay 50% of our income in housing, we're going to build the affordable housing we need. When moms and dads demand affordable, high-quality child care, we'll get affordable, high-quality child care. When young people say they don't want to leave college deeply in debt, we'll get free tuition at public colleges and universities.
Going through the talking points and policy positions that he is known for, and talking about his vision, while Donald Trump brags about ICE arresting his Hispanic people in South Carolina. Bernie, right by my hometown, well, my adoptive hometown, so to speak, in Springfield, Massachusetts, just up the road from Northampton, Massachusetts. Super chats coming in. Guy Lafleur says, I don't know if you saw on Tuesday, but you are cool and good. Thank you, Guy. I appreciate that. Joe Rader says, David, are you buying the dip? I'm not going out of my way to buy shares of stock now that they are down drastically over the last week, but I tend to do buys twice a month, regardless of what's going on, if stocks are up or if stocks are down. And so in the first few days of March, I will do my normal buy. And in the third week of March, I will do my normal buy, and I'll kind of keep dollar cost averaging in. And that is not financial advice, of course, to anybody in particular. Every situation is different, and nothing I say could possibly apply to everybody's financial situation. Let me say thank you and welcome to Windows Zombie, who has subscribed with Twitch Prime. Snowfall and Evergreens has subscribed with Prime. And Sparks and Shorts has subscribed with Prime. We are now 37 Twitch subscribers away from our goal as Bernie raps. Okay, and we don't want to get any kind of copyright issues because of the music. Bernie Sanders with a relatively short rally compared to Donald Trump, but of course, saying much more as Donald Trump, as you will see here, continues to drone on and on.
Ending the AIDS epidemic. Nobody thought this was possible in less now than 9 years, and it should have been started before.
Can you imagine?
We will end the AIDS epidemic. Who would have thought we could have done that? We will land the first woman on the moon and become the first nation in the world to plant our flag on Mars. You have to land on moon, and then you go to Mars. We will defend privacy, free speech, religious liberty, and the right to keep and bear arms. And above all, we will never stop fighting for the sacred values that bind us together as one America. We support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Is Trump going to end AIDS or cure AIDS? I guess I'm unsure about that particular piece. Let me say thank you to Lupe de la Cerda, who is new member number 20 of the evening. Thank you so much. Very much appreciate that support. Bernie Sanders has concluded his rally. We have a goal of 25 new members. If we get there, we will open up the phone lines. It sort of seems like Trump is starting to wind down. I say let's just get those last 5 members at joinpacman.com and open the phone lines. I want to hear from you guys momentarily.
And we live by the words of our national motto, in God we trust. From Greenville to Columbia, and from Myrtle Beach to Hilton Head, to right here in Charleston, this state is home to some of the toughest men and strongest women ever to walk on the face of the earth. It's true. It's true.
Getting into the sweatiest phase.
True. We stand on the shoulders of American patriots who have crossed the oceans, blazed the trails, settled the continent, tamed the wilderness, dug out the Panama Canal, laid down the railroads, revolutionized industry, liberated millions from poverty, hunger, and disease, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and made America the single greatest nation in the history of the world, and we are making it greater every single day.
Wow. Yeah, there you go. Jenna Killpop says the only left thing he said got 0 applause. Trump, what was the left thing he said? The prison reform stuff? Thorolfer Beck says the suspense is unbearable. What about the cliffhanger? The story about contacting through the webpage and the whole system you put in place. I will tell the story. I will tell the story when Trump wraps up. Let me say welcome to B. Coldy. I think I know who that is, who has subscribed for 1 month at Tier 1. Let me say thanks to MikeTron3030, who has also subscribed for 1 month at Tier 1 over on Twitch. Very much appreciate that. Thank you. Also want to... Oh, I guess that's it. Yeah, I don't have anybody else to thank. That's sad. Trump it looks like he's starting to lose steam and sweat excessively. So my guess is we don't have more than 5 or 10 minutes left.
And some actually called their 2 great senators into a big meeting, a town hall. And they said, Senator Scott, Senator Lindsey Graham, we're tired of winning in South Carolina. Can't do it anymore. It's too much. It's too much. We've had years where we weren't winning and it was okay. We couldn't get jobs. We took it easy. But we just want you to go and see your friend, the president. And we want you to represent us, and we want you to say, Mr. President, South Carolina is tired of winning. We don't want to win anymore. We are tired, sick, tired of winning.
We're getting to the delusional part. If you were wondering, if you thought it was all delusional up until now, this is really it. Jenna Killpop says the first woman on the moon. Oh, yeah, Trump said he was going to put the first woman on the moon, and I guess there wasn't that much applause. I didn't notice that much one way or the other. It didn't stand out, I guess, in any way. Let me say thanks to Jimmy Thivangsa, who is new member number 21 tonight. Benjamin Abar, or Abar, is new member number 22. Folks, we are just 3 members from opening the phone lines. And just to entice people a little more, at 25 members, I will tell the story about our contact form. And whoever is new member number 25 gets a free item on me from the David Pakman Show online store at davidpakman.com/gear, number 25. And the last 3 could happen quick, so I wouldn't try to time it too precisely.
Because together we will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again.
Taking a while
we will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, South Carolina. Thank you.
Oh, boy. Whoa. We got to get that music off before things get too crazy. These children's lives, how will these children's lives be irreparably damaged by this seminal experience, particularly this guy right here? What do you predict is the future for these children? And what do you believe? I mean, I don't even know. It's very, very ugly. Very, very, very ugly. I don't even know what to tell you about all of this. It is vile. It is completely and totally vile. Let me, Incredibo TV says, I can't believe I'm coming up on 1 year of being a member. I felt trapped in the political apparatus and couldn't find quality progressive media. That was until I found the Pakman. Keep it, player Pack. Thank you. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that support. Let me say thank you to Mark S., who is new member number 23 this evening. If we get to 25 new members, and we are so close, I will tell the contact form story. We will open the phone lines, and new member 25, we're looking at this very strongly, so strongly that we're just going to do it. New member 25 tonight gets a free item, t-shirt, coffee mug, whatever you want, from the David Pakman Show online store. Now, in the meantime, let me say thank you to Goku for the 2-month subscription with Twitch Prime over on Twitch. And it has been an incredible night of policy ideas from Bernard Sanders in Springfield, Massachusetts, and insults and bragging about arresting Hispanics from Donald Trump in South Carolina in advance of tomorrow's primary. Let me say thank you to Reigning Champ for the Twitch Prime subscription. I really do appreciate that so very much. Thanks to Drift Juice for grabbing a YouTube subscription. This has actually ended. I'm curious what else we have going on that is live. How can we just search for live stuff? Let's see. If I go to trending, no. If I type live and then, oh no, that's over as well. Interesting. The Trump rally still showing as live in some places. Maybe we'll just kind of let it run on a loop here, as Donald Trump did very much embarrass himself earlier today. We are waiting on that new membership number 24 and 25. New member number 25 gets a free item on me, and we will also open up the phone lines. I predict it's going to happen, so I'll get that queued up. Jody Godwin says, little short of money right now, but good show, David. Thank you. And also thanks to Lil Miss Blee 1981 for the YouTube channel subscription. Let's see. Okay, I believe we have new member number 25. Let's see here. Let's go in order, folks, before things get crazy. New member number 24 tonight is Catherine Ivy. Thank you, Catherine. New member number 25, getting a free item from the David Pakman Show store, is Mark Jordan. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that. Email me, pick out an item, give me your mailing address, and we will get that over to you. Edwin Vega is new member number 26 tonight. Chris Mackin is new member number 27. And Corey Geralis is new member number 28. All right, so we're going to open up the phone lines momentarily. As promised, you can call in at 617-830-4750. Let me tell you the contact form story, okay? So here's the deal. Earlier today, someone asked, what does your contact form work? When people write in on your contact form, are you getting that? Is that being reviewed? Let me give you a little bit of a behind the scenes here at the David Pakman Show. Okay. I think if people want, at any point, if people don't like this story, you can interrupt it. Okay. But I think people are going to like this story. When the David Pakman Show started, we set up a website and a contact form, and I was desperate for people to write in. I wanted people to engage. I wanted people to watch and blah, 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 all that stuff. And we didn't get any emails because we didn't have any audience. And slowly but surely over time, the David Pakman Show audience grew to the point where we were getting a lot of spam through our contact form. We needed to set up CAPTCHA. And the number of emails that were coming in daily from our contact form, and to me, because it's not that hard to figure out my email address, started growing and growing and growing, to the tune of hundreds of viewer emails per day coming in through the contact form. Nothing, to say about thousands of YouTube comments and all of this different stuff. So eventually, we had to put in place a system where there are people who email the show every day, okay? And I know some of them are watching right now, and I love that people are so engaged that they're emailing the show every day. But it's too much. It's too much. And we are so busy producing the show, dealing with, membership payment issues, dealing with affiliate issues, booking live appearances, all of this different stuff, that I can't correspond with people individually via email. I'm busy doing the show. This is a reality, okay? And so we have a system in place where if you go to our website and you use the contact form, it is triaged by our team. And if it's just a political comment, and I know a lot of people are going to be furious about this, and a lot of people aren't going to like me. If you're going to our contact form and sending in something like, hey, cover this story or cover that story, it's being triaged. The ideas are compiled, and we'll review them every once in a while. And if there's good suggestions, we pick them out. If you're emailing me directly because you figured out my email and you email me regularly, almost guaranteed your email is being auto-filtered and I'm never seeing it. That's the reality. And then every once in a while, all of those messages that are auto-filtered into a specific separate email address are looked at. And if there are threats, they get forwarded to the FBI. If they are payment-related issues, we respond and help people out. But I'm not able to engage in political discussion via email. We're too busy with the show. I say this with total peace and love. And if you are emailing me regularly, I'm not seeing it, but I am. If there's anything that needs action, I am getting a report about it. That's the reality. That's the story. Sorry to break it to folks. Okay, let's take some phone calls at 617-830-4750.
Thank you for calling into the David Pakman Show. Please do not use speakerphone. Have your question ready and listen for David to call out your area code.
Okay, there we go. We're going to get to phone calls momentarily at 617-830-4750. But there are other people that I need to thank before we do that. So let me just make sure I'm all set on our phone system. There we go. Okay. Let me say a couple of thank yous. Let me say thank you to Mike Hawk. Okay. Michael Hawk. I'm not an idiot. And Daniel Garcia is new member number 30 of the evening. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I also want to say thank you on Twitch to AC0510, who has now gifted 5 more subscriptions. And AC0510 is now number 4 in our list of all-time top gifters. And I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Over on YouTube, JRonH74 says, my name is pronounced Jennifer Cody, number 19. I've enjoyed your YouTube streams. Keep up the good work from New Hampshire. Very nice. Thank you. David Mello says, I love how Trump brings up the laying of the railroads as a great American feat when the majority was with the labor of immigrants. He doesn't care. He doesn't know. And Daniel Krieger says, worst story ever. I apologize. All right, let's pick up on some folks calling in. Let's go first to our caller from the 206 area code. Who's calling today from 206?
Hey, David, my name is Josh. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Josh. Go ahead.
Hey, long-time listener of the show. Really appreciate the work you're doing. I had a question for you regarding the Medicare for All type system. Now, I currently live in Idaho, where they recently adopted to expand the Medicaid to cover that gap when you're not making enough or making too little.
Right.
So I am currently enrolled in Medicaid in Idaho, and I have talked to my doctor recently, and he has said that there has been a lot of mechanisms put in place to help, or to rather not help people get the care that they need. And I'm curious to know if we can expect that kind of treatment to go on if we do adopt a Medicare for All type system.
Well, a lot of the gaps that exist are gaps because they are gaps between systems. If you only have one system, you eliminate a lot of those gaps. But without knowing more about the specifics, it'd be really hard for me to say exactly what you're referring to.
Okay. All right. Well, I can't really elaborate anymore at this time, but I just wanted to pump that question at you.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate the phone call. Let's go next to Jason. Now, Jason, with peace and love, Jason from the 716. I have a note that last time you called in, my voice was echoing badly and I had to hang up on you. I hope that doesn't happen today. Oh, and it is happening again. I'm hearing my own voice on like a 10-second delay.
So, I'm here.
Hey, Jason, is there any way that we can make it so I'm not hearing my own voice coming back to me?
I don't know. Can I say something? And
yeah, Jason, are you listening to me on your phone or are you listening to me on YouTube right now? I can hear his own voice. Jason, I'm sorry. I got to let you go. I had it in the notes, Jason. We asked with peace and love for you to not call back in with the echo. I think Jason has his phone muted and he's listening on the stream. So his own voice is feeding back in. That is just very, very poor caller etiquette. I'm sorry, Jason. Let's go next to our caller from the 717. Who's calling in today from 717?
Oh, hello. I think that's me.
Yes, it is.
David, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. So, David, I just want to say real quick, huge fan. Started listening to Kyle Kalinske maybe a year ago. He mentioned you and your show, and I also listened to Joe Rogan. Found your show through that program as well.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, very cool. So, question for you is canvassing door to door. Is there any evidence for this actually making a change, in the way people think? I know you did a lot of segments on Trump voters you can't reach people who are too far gone, or TFG, as some people call it. Is there any evidence or studies out there that actually support, if you go to people who don't vote or people, are unconvinced or undecided, can you change their mind?
Well, listen, there's a lot of different types of canvassing. Most canvassing is not to argue with people to make drastic changes in their politics. Canvassing, for the most part, is not to canvass for a Democratic candidate by going to houses known to vote Republican and try to convince them to vote for a Democrat. For the most part, what you're doing is you are either one strategy is if you're working for a Democratic candidate, you target Democratic voters and you want to, number one, gauge who they're thinking of voting for and then strategize around get out the vote for people that are likely to support your candidate. That's one strategy. The other is to find people who are considering a different candidate than the one you're supporting, but they are not yet 100%. And those you identify and check back in. So there's a lot of different strategies, but for the most part, the primary strategy is not to find Republicans and convince them to vote for a Democrat. That is not primarily what's being done. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally hear that, and it makes so much sense. I know a lot of people that are thinking, I know people older than me that I work with, thinking, maybe Bloomberg can be in the middle and capture voters who are either Republicans that are more centrist, blah, blah, blah. I feel like, I know I'll be going door to door for Bernie, and this is in Pennsylvania, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be going door to door for Bernie when the time comes, but I feel like I can't even convince my own family members and my own friends who are Democrats and believe in the same values as Bernie. It seems as though they're just, maybe against Bernie. I'm not really sure why, but I'm just wondering if
it's tough to convince people to change their minds, especially when people get defensive and when you present them with what to you seem like obvious facts that support one candidate over another. People often dig in further. This is a broader behavioral economics thing. It's very hard to get people to really change their minds. And there's a lot written about, the best techniques in order to do that.
Okay. Do you have any examples out there? Anything food for thought that I could share with my own? Because I'm involved in in my own town's Democratic committee.
Well, I would use a sort of Socratic. I would use a Socratic method of questioning, of open-minded inquiry about what is it that has made you decide to vote for the person you're supporting, and what would make you change your mind and support Bernie if you heard it. And start there and then work backwards, because a lot of people may not know Bernie's policies, and they might say, well, if Bernie had policy A, B, and C, I'd vote for him. And maybe Bernie has those policies already. So I think open-minded questioning is the way to start.
Okay. Yep. I think I heard you say that before. I kind of forgot that. Yeah. Like say, so you're supporting Elizabeth Warren. What is it about Elizabeth that you like so much?
Sure. That's a great way to start a conversation, non-judgmentally. Listen, I'm going to let you go, but I appreciate the phone call very much. Let me read a couple super chats. Waiting to Fade says, canvassing sounds like missionary work. As one who grew up Mormon, I tend to try to avoid canvassers and canvassing myself. Yeah, me too. I'm not planning to do it myself, certainly. But it is in some cases, people believe it is God's work. The Mormons do anyway. And maybe some more religious political canvassers as well. Let's go next to Sam from the 202. Sam from the 202. What's up, Sam?
Hi, David. Real quick, I just, first of all, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Sam.
Okay. Yeah, I tried to call you last time, but then I had to, a few days ago, but then I had to go to class, but here I am.
Okay.
So, sorry, I'm just a little nervous. What do you think the coronavirus, because the coronavirus could kill tens of millions of people in the world, and like 6 million minimum people if it gets out in the United States, do you think it could hurt the Trump voters who just believe that everything wrong that he's done is fake news, that everything wrong, he cannot do any wrong, that he's infallible? Do you think that like people dying around them, especially senior citizens, which is unfortunate, could convince them?
Well, you're getting at, I don't know about exactly the framing you're presenting, Sam, but here's what I do think is true. And I've already sort of put down some notes because I want to talk about this on Monday. If you believe Trump that everything's fine and this is an overblown hoax, you're less likely to take the steps that the CDC suggests to protect yourself. And thus, you are more likely to either get or spread coronavirus. And I don't want to call it a Darwinian thing in any way, but there's something to, if you believe it's a hoax, you won't protect yourself, and therefore you're more likely to get it.
Or I guess the idea that he has it under control, even if it wasn't like I met Trump supporters who are like, yeah, but he's infallible and he's got it under control and it's not going to come here.
Yeah.
And if it does come here, it'll have it anyway.
Right. Well, the best news I've heard about this in the last several weeks is that, many companies are working on vaccines, and it's generally considered that it could take 9 to 24 months to get a working vaccine for coronavirus to the public. There is an Israeli company that has a vaccine already for the poultry version of coronavirus called IBV. And they said today that they've modified that vaccine such that it could be ready for human trials in weeks and potentially to market in 90 days, which if it, it's very optimistic, but if that's true, that really could be a game changer. And who knows where we'll be in 90 days on this thing.
Yeah, I think we could be like exponentially worse in 90 days. It might be too late in terms of people dying and or getting into other countries, and hopefully not the U.S. And I have 2 video suggestions for you. I want you to do, if you want, do your takes on 2 topics.
Okay.
Islam and Ronald Reagan.
Okay.
Because the first one, I have exactly this. My mother is Irish Catholic, but my father's background is exactly the same as yours, like Latin American Jewish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they only were in Argentina there for like 50 years, but like Eastern Europe, Argentina, United States.
Right.
And so that's kind of funny that I have the exact same background that you do, but I learned about Islam from I go to a campus of with a bunch of different kids on very different backgrounds because I live in Denver.
Yep.
And I'm gaining a very, very positive view on it. And I want to know what you think as someone, you get the idea.
I do, Sam. Very good. We will take those suggestions under advisement. It's always great to hear from you.
Oh, thanks. Have a wonderful day.
All right. You too, Sam. Thank you so much. Let me do a couple of other super chats. Let's see here. Philosophy and Critical Thinking says, what are your thoughts on compulsory voting? I'm from Australia and we have compulsory voting. Yeah, there's compulsory voting in Argentina as well, where I was born. I'm not that into the idea of making voting compulsory in the United States. I'm into the idea of getting more people to vote by making them understand the importance of voting. That's my predilection, so to speak. I am taking phone calls right now. You can call me right now at 617-830-4750. I want to say thanks to Black White Rook for subscribing for 5 months with Twitch Prime. We are 27 Twitch subscribers away from our goal of 1,200, which would be a delightful goal to get to. Just for kicks, because we got to our initial goal of 25 members, let's make the new goal at joinpacman.com 50, just for kicks. Let's do something risky. I'm going to pick up on a call that is via Skype. A lot of times people calling in via Skype, sometimes it's just nice people from other countries. Sometimes it's trolls. So let's go to one of our callers from Skype. What's going on?
Hello?
Yes, that's you.
Oh, fantastic. Hi, David. My name's Stephen. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing great.
Good.
So I am in an interesting position. I am a progressive
I'll be
in
the
Arkansas.
judge. I'll be the judge with all due respect if it's interesting. Thank you.
Fair enough. So I've been going door to door, talking to people, trying to get them engaged in local politics. And what I found is a really, really interesting divide between the younger people, who obviously are very much pro-Bernie, and the older generation. But I don't include in that about 20 years. So about somewhere between 35 to 55, there's this group of people who are heads down, mouth shut. You don't talk politics. You don't get involved in politics. You get to work. You do your work. You don't get involved. And all these older people who are, frankly, from the activist generation that care. I'm trying to find a way to get them to partner with the younger generation, because I feel like there's teamwork that can happen there that can really just like cross mentorship, help them understand our current struggles, and at the same time teach a younger generation how people mobilized in the past, and,
now, is
and
the
really
goal,
bring
just
these
so I understand,
together.
is the goal to bring them together in support of a particular candidate, or just to bring them together to get
No.
politically active?
to bring them together to find a common voice. I know that there's candidates I support and there's candidates I don't, and I don't want to make this about that. I want to make it about trying to find a way to bridge that gap so that people can have those conversations locally between people in these different generations. What would you suggest trying?
Oh, I would, the problem is that very often, even if you find shared values, very quickly you will have differences of opinion generationally about what are the important issues and, of course, of what are the right candidates to support. So I'd have to give that some thought. I've not thought about it in those terms.
Take your time. Thank you for taking my call.
All right. My pleasure. Very good. So let's see. That was one Skype call. I just got disconnected myself. I accidentally, the thing is, when I take Skype calls, I can't tell which Skype, I'm on Skype.
Thank you for calling into the David Pakman Show. Please do not use speakerphone.
Wow, that
Have
was
your
crazy.
question ready and listen for David to call out your area code.
The number is 617-830-4750, and we are about to take another call here for sure. As soon as I get back, I got kicked off my own phone system. Is that crazy? It's really a no-tolerance system. Even I can get kicked off. Let's go to our caller from the 917 area code. Who's calling today from 917, which, if I recall correctly, is that New York City? 917, hello. 917, last opportunity. If you have muted yourself, please unmute yourself so that we can hear you. All right, 917 is gone. Let's go to the 310 area code, which let's see, 310 is Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, that is LA.
How are you?
I'm well. This is Dylan. I'm not sure if you've ever covered this, but I'm curious if Bernie does win a plurality of the votes to become the Democratic representative, and somehow via superdelegates or some other means, someone else is nominated to be the delegate.
Right.
Is there any world in which he might pursue some other avenue to get on to go after the presidential election via independent or some other means?
Nope. I think Bernie knows that would hand the election to Trump, and I don't think he would do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Interesting. Just thought out there.
Yeah.
All righty. Thanks, David.
All right. Thank you. Very much appreciate it. Let's go next to our caller from the 207 area code. 207, is that the great state of Maine?
Is that me?
Yes, it is.
Oh, hey. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit awkward. Yes, I am from Maine.
Okay.
Okay, so obviously I watch your show and I want to vote on Super Tuesday and everything.
Okay. Yep.
So recently, some people in my college came up to me and they started talking to me about Lisa Savage. She's the Green Party candidate. And
for what office?
I was wondering, she's taking Susan Collins' seat, or she's running for it.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and so was Sarah Gideon. She's the Democratic one as well. So I was wondering, would it be smarter for me to use the ranked choice voting that we have to try and vote for Lisa Savage, or go with Sarah Gideon?
Is it Lisa Savage or Sausage?
Savage.
Okay, I thought you said sausage the second time. Listen, here's the thing. If your politics are more aligned with hers because of ranked choice voting, you can vote for her but still not be helping Susan Collins get reelected. That's got to be the priority, right? Getting Susan Collins out.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah. I mean, so the whole point of ranked choice voting is you really want Collins out. Maybe you'd prefer the Green Party person, but my guess is that you would rather the Democratic candidate over Susan Collins.
Honestly, I would rather both over Susan Collins.
Exactly. So that's the whole point of ranked choice voting. Aligned. That's the whole point of it, yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to know if it was smarter to go for Lisa initially. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate the phone call. Let me say thanks to Paul Carroll for subscribing on YouTube at the Soy Boy level. Thank you very much. Let's pick up a call. Let's try a different 917 area code if we can. Caller from 917, go ahead. Something seems wrong with 917 today. What's wrong with 917 that we can't ever hear 917? It's weird. All right. Let's try instead the 605. Now, 605 is that, for some reason, I'm thinking Milwaukee. Am I off?
Hi, David. This is Mario. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Where are you from?
Hi. It's actually Sioux Falls, South Dakota, but I actually moved from there. I'm in Washington State now.
Okay. Well, that's still allowed.
Anyway, yeah, yeah. So anyway, I was wondering. Let's say Bernie does get the president. He does get elected president, and he does legalize marijuana. I'm in the military, so I mean, I'm just wondering. Do you think, like, if it is legally, like, if it is federally, like, taken off that list, you know how it's equal to heroin and whatnot?
Schedule 1.
Do you think that companies and Schedule 1, yeah. Do you think that companies and then the DOD would allow their workers to smoke? Well, I mean, obviously not on the job, but like outside, you know, weekends and holidays and whatnot.
So just if you reschedule cannabis from Schedule 1, that will not make it legal for government employees, if they're at an agency that says no cannabis, to use cannabis, obviously not when they're working. No, it would. I think that in order for that to be considered, there would need to be certainly legalization recreationally in the state in which you work. But because they are federal jobs, I think it would take even more than that. So I would not. I think that there's a very long uphill battle before that would be allowed.
So even if it was federally legal, I mean legalized, like completely, you don't
recreationally,
think
that you mean?
The DOD, yeah. Right.
Listen, if cannabis becomes recreationally legalized federally, then you can start to have a conversation about whether government workers would be allowed. But that we're like very many steps far from that right now.
Understood.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for taking my call.
All right, my pleasure. Great to hear from you. Let me say welcome and thank you to Neptune99 Twitch. I very much appreciate that. The Twitch Prime subscription. Also, Alexa Cameron has grabbed a YouTube subscription, and nobody else has signed up at joinpacman.com. That's sad. Very, very sad. Let's pick. We are taking calls at 617-830-4750. Let's pick up a caller from Skype. Skype caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yes, that's you.
Hello?
Yes, that's you.
Yeah, it's me?
Yes, it is.
Oh, great. Excellent. First, thanks for answering. I hope I'm not a Skype pro. I have two questions about Buttigieg, and I hope that you will be able to indulge
Sorry,
me about them.
Did you say you have two questions for virgins?
No, about Buttigieg, not
about
for virgins.
Buttigieg. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Got it.
Yeah. I'm not an American, and I'm not sure if I'd had the vote if I'd necessarily vote for him.
Okay.
But I was wondering, you did I think a segment about healthcare in Germany and their model at the time, and you know, Buttigieg he's a pretty analytical guy and he's pretty data driven. And if I'm not mistaken, his husband used to live in Germany also, so we should be aware of it, at least to some extent, in my opinion. And I'm wondering if his Medicare for all who want it could be translated somehow vis-a-vis the German model, because the German model is basically, you know, the Medicare for all who want it. You have the government-run one, and you have all the private ones that are regulated that are basically you have the choice.
Oh yeah, no, it seems very
sense.
what Buttigieg wants and what Germany has seem quite similar. Are you saying, is it possible? You want someone to notify Buttigieg of that?
No, I'm just wondering, what do you think about it? Because, you know, he's getting a lot of crap about, you know, he's not really for Medicare. He's not really for making, you know, this kind of effort. So you need to vote for Bernie or for Warren for it, when in fact his model might be actually very close to German and might be actually more applicable. And again, I'm saying it as a person who, if I had the vote, I would probably vote for
listen, I mean,
either Warren or
any system that is less of a change to the status quo is more likely to become a reality. But I don't think that's where you start. You start with really what you think of as the ideal system. The German system is better than the U.S. system. If, you know, thinking ahead, if you have to negotiate to a system like the German system, it's much better than what we have now. But, I'm more in line with the Bernie healthcare idea than the Buttigieg healthcare idea.
Oh, definitely. I think we're both on board with this one.
Yep.
I'm also wondering about this. It seems to me like it's almost assumed that if there will be some kind of contested convention, that maybe it's assumed that if Bernie will get a plurality but not a majority, maybe Warren will pitch in her delegates for him, and it's almost assumed that Buttigieg will, let's say, pitch his delegates for someone like a Biden. Do you think he would necessarily be more inclined to give his delegates to a Biden than a Sanders in that kind of case? Because I'm not fully convinced. It doesn't seem that clear cut to me.
I am not 100% on that, but I think that what we should do is we should table that discussion until we at least get past Super Tuesday, because I think by midnight on Super Tuesday, we're going to know which of these conversations we should be having.
I see. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, just one last thing, that just because you mentioned before with another caller that he said on Monday you're going to talk about the coronavirus and they downplaying it, etc. I'm wondering if you heard about what happened in Korea, that over there they have a big problem there because there was a cult that was actually religiously downplaying the whole importance of vaccination and disease and everything, and that caused a huge uproar. I believe they have even higher growth in cases than in China right now.
I'm looking at it right now. Today, China had 428 new cases and South Korea had nearly 600 new cases. You're absolutely correct, my friend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess it might be relevant for your Monday call if you haven't looked into it
yes,
before.
I will look into that. Thank you very much. I appreciate the phone call.
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you
so
very
much.
much.
Hope to hear from you again. Let me say thank you to Cookie Combat.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Let me say thank you to Cookie Combat for subscribing with Twitch Prime. I appreciate that. I also want to say thank you to George Issue. George Issue is new member number 31 today at joinpacman.com. And Paul Carroll is new member number 32 today at joinpacman.com. Over on YouTube, Macarius39 says, David, how can Warren justify a $15 million super PAC? Only by saying she needs it to win and then she would cancel them. I mean, that's basically she doesn't believe in unilateral disarmament, essentially. Rock Lee says, caller is wrong. Germany equals multi-payer, not public option. Yes, Germany is actually a multi-payer system. That is absolutely correct. But it was a relevant enough analogy, I would say. Let's get next to our caller from the 303 area code. I believe 303, is 303 Colorado?
Yeah, hey, David, is this me?
Yes, it is.
Awesome, yeah. I'm originally from Denver, but I'm in Chicago now.
Beautiful.
I just graduated with my master's in finance, so I'm a finance guy, and I've always appreciated your economic coverage. I've always been impressed by it.
Are you a finance guy or a finance bro?
I wouldn't want to call myself a bro.
Okay, fair.
I just enjoy the subject and I'm fascinated by it.
Cool.
So you've been talking about a lot about the stock market drop recently, and to me it just seems like a very healthy response in terms of of a market to just price in the risk that the global economy faces.
Right.
And also given that most Americans don't have stocks, someone like me who wants to build up wealth, it's almost like watching something you really want to buy just get cheaper and cheaper in front of your eyes.
Right. Well, so here's my view, and people who watch the show know this. I dabble in some stock trading. I used to do a lot more of it, but basically now I only have 6 or 7 stocks. I've talked about what they are, Tesla and some others. I'm basically in mutual funds, in index funds, very low cost index funds where I might just pay 5 basis points a year in fees, right? So I just invest on a schedule. Twice a month, I'm buying more. When the price goes down, I get more shares for my money. And so if you believe that this is just another one of these corrections and eventually it will recover, nothing's wrong. I don't need the money right now. And it's worth less, but if I don't sell, I'm not really losing the money, so everything's fine. If you believe that one of these corrections is going to be the last one that takes down what some see as a completely unsustainable economic system, then we're screwed. But in that case, we're kind of screwed either way, right?
No, absolutely. One last quick question.
Yeah.
I noticed you've had Bitcoiners on, and you actually accept Bitcoin on your website. I'm like really interested in crypto and especially Bitcoin in general. I was wondering if when you get donations of Bitcoin, if you hold on to it or if you cash it out, if you're willing to say.
You know, we haven't gotten any Bitcoin anything for months and months. So typically what were we doing? We were, I think, cashing out half when we were getting it, but there hasn't been any crypto contribution for a very long time.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, David.
All right, great to hear from you. Appreciate that. Let's see here. Let's go to our caller from the 786 area code. Caller from 786, what's going on?
Oh, hello, David.
Hi.
Oh, I'm a big fan of yours since like 2016.
Thank you.
Even though we have different views, I'm still a fan.
Okay.
So my question's about the MMT's like theories of economics.
Yes, modern monetary theory.
Yeah, I was talking to my professor about it, and I asked him the same question I'm about to ask you now. Even if the, like, let's say the heterodox theories of MMT are correct, wouldn't it still be impractical?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, heterodox theories of MMT are correct. Wouldn't it still be impractical? Such an impractical, like, theories because they want Congress to be in charge of inflation?
You know, I don't know that it's always the case that someone who generally believes in the framework of modern monetary theory wants Congress making all of the decisions. That's you'd have to defend that.
I mean, I don't know, because I'm reading, because I just want to learn. I'm reading about it, and they want like Congress to like let's say control inflation by raising taxes when it gets too high.
So listen, the framework of MMT that I'm most familiar with is that printing currency will not cause an endless inflation spiral if it's being printed for economically stimulative programs. I admit I'm less familiar with the side of it that you're discussing, so I'd have to research more to be able to comment intelligently.
No worries about it, David. You know, I'm just trying to do my research on my own.
I think that's a great thing to do.
Yeah. Can I have one more question?
Sure.
I was like, okay, so I'm like a libertarian, and I was speaking to my friends from like, you know, the left, and I'm like telling them about how I think Buttigieg would be the better person to take on Donald Trump because he's just such a like a good debater. He'll like from my point of view, I think he will destroy Trump because of how he like controls the conversation during the debate and how composed he is as a person. Like, what do you think about that?
I am not convinced of that. I think that it's conceivable that Buttigieg would get destroyed by Trump during a debate. I don't know that I buy that.
I mean, I just thought because I think that like Buttigieg just is more like more composed when you like compare him to Bernie. Like Bernie, they made at first they made like fun of him because like he wasn't standing up for himself like with Warren, and then he heard like those like comments, so he tried to like speak louder and louder in the next debates. So it kind of shows like less composure, where I think Buttigieg is just like better at that. Like,
I don't know about that. I mean, Bernie has had some pretty big kill shots on Buttigieg during debates. So by using the that analysis, I just don't think I agree with you. But I really appreciate the phone call, and I'm going to move on because I've got some people here that want to get on. Let me say thank you to Operation Nope for subscribing on Twitch with the message, "My mom and sister switched from Bernie to Bloomy. Please send help." That's a hell of a situation that you're dealing with, my friend. I don't know how I would be able to intercede there. Let's go next to our caller from the 847 area code. Who's calling today from 847?
Hi, David. I just wanted to say that I really appreciate you taking calls and your insight in debates. It's really interesting to hear both. I'm 18, near Chicago, so I have a lot of younger friends. And what I've found is that a lot of younger people around my area fall into three groups. Two of them being conservative and progressive activists, and the other being completely non-engaged in politics to the point where they don't even want to go and vote.
Right.
So my question is, how do you think I should go and reach out to these people to encourage them to go and vote?
The non-voters?
Correct.
Well, what I find effective with non-voters is, a lot of times they say, I'm not into politics. Okay, great. I don't like politicians. Great. What do you care about? Unless they literally have no interest whatsoever, they're going to care about something that relates directly to who they're electing, either at the state, local, or national level. So that's usually the best entry point. I mean, now, for example, with coronavirus, a lot of people who are like, I don't care about politics, they see Trump completely incompetently lying about coronavirus. All of a sudden, they realize the importance of electing the right people. So oftentimes ask people what it is that they do care about when they say they're not into politics.
Okay, that's a great way of going around it. Thank you.
All right, my pleasure.
I actually have one more question that's not pertinent. What's your favorite book?
Oh, I mean, I couldn't tell you. You'd have to narrow it down to like a subgenre. I do read quite a bit, and there's no way I could tell, it's like saying, what's your favorite song,
Okay, well, thank you very much, David. Have a good day.
No subgenre you want to run by me?
Oh, shit. Fantasy.
I actually don't read fantasy. I don't like it. All right, listen, but check davidpakman.com/recommendations. I've got like 150 book recommendations there.
Wonderful.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right, check
Have a
that
good
out.
day.
Thank you. By the way, Hassan Piker is here in Boston, and we've been chatting today, trying to figure out if we can meet up. And he's got this completely whacked out schedule where he's like live streaming at PAX East. Tomorrow he's going to the Bernie rally, which I'm going to stay away from just because it's just chaos. It's a zoo. And then he's like planning to stream 8 hours for the South Carolina results. So I don't even know that we're going to end up getting together because it's crazy what Hassan has going on. Let's see. Let's go next to our caller from the 256 area code. Who's calling today from 256?
David?
Yes.
Hey, this is Gus from Alabama.
Hey, Gus.
So this is a coronavirus. I sort of kind of just want to run this by you and just see what you have to say about this.
Okay.
There's a town close by where I live. It's called Anderson, Alabama.
So two quick things. Two quick things, my friend. I want to hear the question. You're starting to sound like you're in a room designed to echo. If you just did something where you stepped away from the phone, put it on speaker, or did something, try to undo it. And then also, I was hearing my own voice back on a delay. So if you've got the stream up somewhere, please mute the stream. Hello. Oh, boy. I think that click is the end of that phone call. That was weird. Okay, if people can clip for me the moment earlier where I asked the German caller if he had questions for virgins, if someone can clip that and then email it to me, I actually would really appreciate that because I think we're going to want that for social for next week. Let's try our caller from the 631 area code. Who's calling today from 631?
Hey, Pacman, this is Andrew.
Hey,
Can you hear
Andrew,
me?
what's up? Yes, I can.
Hey, so I wanted to get your opinion on if you think Bernie should include like more of like how capitalism plays a role in his policies, because I feel like maybe that would be a good strategy going into like the general. What do you
I'm
think
not
about
sure because he's already called a communist and a socialist. And I think people generally understand. I don't know that it's to his advantage to do that necessarily. It's an interesting idea. I just am not sure that he would really benefit from it because I think a lot of the people that support him already understand the problems of the version of capitalism that we have. And then at the same time, I don't know that he's going to gain anything by talking more about that. I'm unsure. It's a kind of a question mark for me.
Yeah, I just didn't know. Like, I wouldn't consider it a pivot because capitalism does still play a role under his policies, obviously.
Yeah.
And I just thought maybe that would like appeal to like the independents and like the swing states.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm not sure that I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you necessarily. It's not my instinct of this would be definitely good for him, but it's an interesting idea.
Right. Okay. Oh, hey, thanks for taking my call.
All right, my pleasure. Great to hear from you. Let's try our caller from the 361 area code. Who's calling today from 361?
Hello, is that me?
Yes, it is.
Oh, this is excuse me. This is
Dill calling from Texas, also known as Dylan's Asiatic on the super chats.
All right, thank you so much.
Just calling it. I think it's my first question is I've heard a few people bring up the coronavirus, and what I was going to ask though is, would you see the coronavirus as something that's really undermining the stock market, or is it just a catalyst knocking down an already weakened state of the economy?
So I've been saying for a while that I believe there is going to be a correction because just one is due, and there's always some other correction coming up. I think that there's no question that coronavirus is a catalyst. Now, if it ends up not becoming as bad as it could be, and the fundamentals of the economy don't change, I would expect a recovery. If it is indeed, I think it's just too early to know. If it's a catalyst for an already weakened economy in some fundamental level, then I think we will only know that at some point in the future. I think anyone who claims to know that now is just speculating.
All right, that makes sense. And I was wondering about your perspective on a single payer system either allowing or not allowing duplicative care. What do you think is the optimal position on that?
Sorry, allowing what? What did you say? Duplicative care?
Yes, duplicative care.
Do you mean for the same patient and procedure, or do you just mean the existence of people having private insurance if they want it in addition to Medicare for all?
I mean, allowing private insurance to cover the same procedures that the public option does, or the public program, not option.
Well, you can't, it's up to private insurance to determine what they want to cover. That's the thing. So the thing about the system is, if Medicare for all were to exist, my approach would be you just leave private insurance alone. Private insurance can charge what they need to charge on the basis of the size of the risk pool that they have. And if everybody switches away to Medicare for all, that's going to make private insurance more expensive because the risk pool is going to become more fragmented. And the market that they claim takes care of things might actually just do what it needs to do with private insurance. But I don't think it's for the government to decide that necessarily.
All right, that's why, because I mean, there is a debate. Like, I think when Tulsi released, or I don't think she ever fully released the plan, but she talked about her Medicare choice or single payer plus or whatever she wanted to call it.
Yeah.
And in comparing what her plan was expected to be, at least with Bernie's plan, like he allows supplemental care, but like say the Medicare for all covers a bone marrow transplant or some other procedure.
Yep.
Then under his bill that can't be covered, but under hers it could.
Yeah,
so
I would want to hear why you outlaw the coverage of that through private insurance. I know that there's this idea of you get Medicare for all the stuff that's medically necessary, and then you can get private insurance for cosmetic or optional procedures. But it's like, well, those already aren't covered by insurance. So my instinct is more to just set up the best system possible. Don't worry about private insurance. Let them do what they want to do. And if people migrate away from it because it's inferior, then private insurance may go out of business, or it may only appeal to a certain portion of the population. But I don't see any reason to get so involved with private insurance. I would focus on just building the best government-run system possible.
Yeah, I wasn't entirely sure myself. If I had to think of an argument, I guess the idea is, since private insurance can pay the hospitals whatever they want, if we don't eliminate duplicative care, there's a risk that the issue of rationing by wealth instead of rationing by need would still exist if you don't ban it.
So you're saying if private insurance opted to pay hospitals more in that situation rather than less?
Yeah, that the hospitals would then prioritize people with insurance over people on the public system.
Well, so that maybe
I'm not sure about that.
That maybe is what you need to deal with legally, rather than the private insurance. You say that the hospitals would not be allowed to do that. But these are smaller issues than the bigger picture of how the system will function.
Yeah.
But good questions. I appreciate them.
All right, Yep. Well, I think that's it. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And on that note, I'm wrapping. I've got to go out. I've got people waiting for me very, very anxiously here in the city of Boston. Thanks to everybody who joined me. More streams, shows,